Welcome to the Badminton Unit. Use this as a study guide and the unit overview. This is the birdie, and it's also called a shuttlecock or a shuttle. And to your left is a badminton racket. Rackets and the shuttles are provided for students' use, but any abuse of equipment will result in the student being charged for the replacement. If at any time you accidentally drop your racket, I just have it as a class rule, get down and do 10 push-ups. We do this because I want to take good care of the equipment so we have it for the future. This is where the net is going to be located. This would be the center line going throughout the whole thing. And if we're focusing on this side, this would be your left service court. This would be your right service court. And if I was serving from the right side, I have to be behind this line in order to serve. And when I serve this birdie, I need to serve it into this area right here. First, we're going to go through singles play. I'm going to do a modified game where right now you can see Mr. Horner is playing against Andrew Wiggins. The way we start out and figure out who serves first is by doing rock, paper, scissors. So Mr. Horner beat Andrew Wiggins, and so Mr. Horner is going to start serving. This is an example of singles play. And when we do singles in class, we perform rally scoring, and you got to win by 2 to 15 points. And now you must remember, since Mr. Horner is serving first, the score is 0-0. Whenever the score is even, you serve from the right side. Whenever the score is odd, you serve from the left side. So the score is 0-0. Mr. Horner is going to serve to this area right here. Mr. Horner serves it, and Mr. Wiggins shanks it off to this way. Alright, so that's a point for Mr. Horner. What's going to happen now is that Mr. Horner is going to switch to the left, Mr. Wiggins is going to switch to the left side, and now Mr. Horner says 1-0, serves it across. Alright, we're both on the left side right now as singles because the score is odd on whoever is serving. And after a very hard-fought battle, Mr. Horner just barely beat Mr. Wiggins, 15-10. Now it's time to get serious. Mr. Wiggins and Mr. Horner teamed up against LeBron James and Aaron Rodgers in a doubles match. There's only a few differences between doubles play and singles play, with obviously 4 people compared to 2 people on the actual court. In order to start a game, just like singles play, we go and do rock, paper, scissors. We're going to assume that Mr. Horner and Mr. Wiggins won that, so we are going to take the serve. It's 0-0, so that serve starts out on the right side. Now typically, in a badminton doubles match, if Mr. Wiggins were to serve it and it goes out of bounds, what would happen is that Mr. Horner serves it from the left side and he gets a chance as well. But since we won the rock, paper, scissors, the first team to serve to start the game only gets 1 chance to serve it. So Mr. Wiggins, go ahead and serves, Rodgers brings it back, and Mr. Horner shanks it off to the side. Okay, so the birdie is now going to go over, and it is 1-0. So LeBron James is going to be serving because he is on the left side. Now LeBron James yells 1-0, serves it across court. Mr. Horner returns it, and Mr. Rodgers hits the net. It is not over. So the score is 1-1. And now instead of this birdie going over here, actually Mr. Rodgers is going to serve. But he is going to be on the left side because the score is 1-1. So these guys are going to switch. The only team that switches service areas is a team that's serving. If Mr. Horner was way better than Mr. Wiggins or Mr. Wiggins was better than Mr. Horner, you can't say, oh, I'm going to take this serve right here. Nope, you have to stay in your serving area unless you are the serving team. So now Aaron Rodgers yells 1-1. He serves it to Mr. Horner. Mr. Wiggins is not able to return this serve because it's meant for Mr. Horner's area. Okay, Mr. Horner returns it, and the birdie's going back and forth, and it's a good match. And all of a sudden, oh, Mr. Horner smashes one past LeBron James. That is a point for this group, so the score is going to be 2-1, and it's going to go to the right side. So Mr. Wiggins would now be serving because it's 2-1. Our score is even. It's on the right side. So now Mr. Wiggins is going to yell 2-1, serving. So Mr. Wiggins serves it, and oh, LeBron is very off today. Mr. Wiggins gets an ace. Now the serving team switches because it's 3-1, and it's time for Mr. Wiggins to serve on the left side because his score is odd. Alright, and he's serving over to Mr. Rogers. Serve comes in, goes back and forth, and Mr. Rogers shanks it now. Now it is 4-1, and you're going to be switching sides again. Mr. Wiggins is going to get ready to serve to LeBron. Faults are going to occur in badminton. It's part of the game, and during the serve, it is a fault if the shuttle is struck higher than the waist, head of the racket is not below the server's hand holding the racket, the shuttle falls into the wrong service court or out of bounds, the shuttle falls before or short of the service line, the server's feet are not in the correct service court, the receiver of the serve does not have both feet in the correct service court, the server steps forward when serving, receiver moves prior to the serve, the server intentionally balks, fakes, or fakes out their person. Part of both feet must remain in contact with the court in a stationary position until the service is made. Or if the shuttle passes through, under, or gets caught on or under the net on the serve. Or if the server attempts to serve and misses the birdie completely, that is a fault, and it results in a point for the other team. During regular play, it is a fault if the player reaches over the net to play the birdie, the player hits the birdie twice in one motion or momentarily holds or throws the birdie, the player fails to return the birdie to the opponent's court, the player obstructs, distracts, or hinders the opponent, the player deliberately delays the game, the player touches the net with the racket, body, or clothes. In doubles, if the receiver's partner returns the serve, because you have to stay in that same service area if you're on defense, the shuttle passes through or under the net. It is a fault if the shuttle touches the ceilings or the walls, or if the shuttle touches a person or their clothes. Now a let will be a replay of the point, and this is given for any accidental things that happen. Some of the things, for example, are that a server serves before the receiver is ready, the shuttle breaks during play, the shuttle gets caught on top of the net or in the net after having gone over, except for on the serve, or a double fault. One on each team equals a let. There are 6 essential shots that I really want you guys to be familiar with and practice during the first couple days of the skills. The first shot is going to be a short serve. So now if Mr. Horner is serving, he's serving by the line, he yells 0-0 and serves. A short serve is meant to go the short distance, obviously. The next type of serve is a long serve. And a long serve is when the opponent is closer to the net and Mr. Horner is trying to bring Mr. Rogers back in order to set up an easy shot for a point. A clear is when a rally occurs and all of a sudden Mr. Horner sends a shot that goes high and deep over the opponent to the back of the court, which drives Mr. Rogers back. A drive is a hard horizontal stroke that just clears over the net. A drop shot, in which Mr. Horner just drops it right over the net, making Mr. Rogers try to rush to the net to try to get it back over. That's a drop shot. And then you have the famous smash, is when a powerful downward stroke using a wrist snap to the end of the point, hitting the birdie in front of the opponent. Some playing courtesies in badminton is, if in doubt about the birdie landing, always call it in favor of your opponent. If there is any question about you fouling at the net, be sure to call it against yourself. If there is any questions about you throwing the birdie, be quick to call the throw. And do not question calls of your opponent, and do not smash at your opponent if the point could easily be won by placing the birdie somewhere else. In badminton, it's officially the fastest racket sport in the world. The shuttle is smashed around the court at speeds up to 200 miles per hour in Olympics. So, after a very, very, very hard-fought battle, make sure to shake hands with the person that you were playing against. Sportsmanship is key.